So let's talk about vocal equalizers. But before I do that, I want to put my correction plugin, which is real phones, because I'm wearing my headphones, but my headphones are lacking some frequencies. So I hope it won't crash on me. Let's see. Because it could crash, you never know. Okay, great. So, okay, I have my correction is on. Test 1, 2. Test 1, 2. Okay, I should have a better sound now. Test 1, 2. Yes. Yes, it works. Okay. Yeah, I like this one. All right, so I have my correction on just so I can hear what I'm doing. But if you hear some weird frequencies, there's nothing I can do about it. I'm gonna turn it on and off so we can demonstrate. But let's talk about, oh my God, this topic is so painful. Let's talk about how to equalize some vocals, guys. Where do you start? There's so much information on the internet and you don't know where to start, probably. You're going to see some people compressing the vocals first and then equalizing them after. You're going to see those stuff. Or you're going to see people doing some crazy equalizer moves and then compressing after. Like, it always depends on the scenario. But what I'm trying to tell, like, I'm going to try to summarize from what I've seen so far, what people do. So those are the stuff that I'm going to try to summarize so we can talk about those. But first, I want you to know one thing. When you look at a waveform like this, I want you to know one thing. Look at this peak. It could be a transient or it could be a resonance. You never know. Look at this. This fat file. It could be a transient or it could be a resonance. You never know. So first thing, what you need to know is equalizer is a fader. So my choice of equalizer is per Q just because I know my shortcuts. Again, just to make your life easy, if you pick one equalizer and try to train yourself on that particular equalizer, then you're good to go. Where's my equalizer? Oh. Yeah, okay. I don't want to bring the VSC one. Let's clear all of these. Okay. So first thing is first, I'm going to grab an equalizer. Again, you're going to see a lot of people are doing different things. Sometimes when people have like really good vocal takes, let's say they recorded a high-end studio with good microphones, right? And those microphones, you're not going to see crazy stuff. You're not going to have to fix that much. Imagine you have like a Sony C800, which is a $10,000 microphone, and you're not going to have to like fix that much. They already sound like, oh, these vocals are mixed already. That's how those are going to sound like. And then you're going to be confused because you're recording at your home studio, right? With your microphone available to you, and you just plug it straight to your Mac. I mean, straight to your Apollo Twin maybe. And you don't have a high-end microphone. Maybe you're using like $300, $200 microphone. And you're going to be like, oh my God, I don't know where to start. Where do you start? First thing is first, just think about it. Again, there are a million ways of thinking about this. My biggest suggestion to people who is like watching this thing, I hope, are we recording? Yeah, 5 minutes already. So my biggest suggestion that watch what other people do. Watch as many as you can. Watch completely different people from each other. Watch Grammy engineers, watch YouTubers, watch your friends, watch everybody and pick your own tools because there are a million ways of doing it. Because what happens, guys, you see these people are doing it in a certain way and then you decide not to do it that way because you make your own conclusion after watching all those tutorials or those videos or all that training. So make your own conclusion most of the time. But in order to make your own conclusion, of course, first you're going to have to watch and stalk enough people doing it. Or maybe you don't have to because I'm just going to show you how they do it mostly. First thing is first, what I realized all the time, they always start with resonance removing. Because some resonance, again, equalizer, let's just make this equalizer a little bit bigger. Can we make it bigger? Yeah, okay. So equalizer is a fader. Let's say you have this frequency, right? By the way, yeah, okay. Let's say you have this frequency. What happens when you boost it? What happens when you boost it? You increase the volume of that frequency. What is the frequency? 180, right? That's what you do. You increase the volume of it. So never forget one thing. Equalizer, parametric equalizer is a fader. In fact, equalizer is your best fader. It's a selective fader, you know, because you get to select which one you're going to boost, which one you're going to cut, meaning which one you're boosting the volume or you're ducking the volume. Volume. This is the first thing that you need to understand about the equalizer. Most people don't know how to explain it because they're so professional. They don't need to explain this. Like, this is a volume fader. Guys, this is a fader. I'm telling you, this is a fader. I can actually make it look like a fader just because I know my shortcuts. See, this is actually a fader, guys. So when you duck it like this, you think you're doing something fancy? No, you're ducking the volume. This is a fader. Again, think about it like a fader, okay? Think about it like a fader. Just think about it like a fader. So when you think about this is like your whole fader, your selective fader, right? You're gonna need to make some smart adjustments on the selective fader so that way your vocals can pop out in the mix. They can sound like shiny, bright pop vocal maybe, or maybe some background vocal where you duck the whole thing, or maybe they can sound like rock vocal where you want to like boost some of the mids and all that stuff. So you get the idea, right? So anyway, so let's get to the topic. First thing is first, what do you think we should do first? My suggestion, start with those resonances. Let's talk about resonances. What is a resonance? What is a resonance? It's a little bit hard to explain, but resonance, you know what they do. Actually, let me explain what they cause. So let's say you have like a resonance here. What is this? Like, let's do, you have like a resonance here maybe. Most of the times like here, if you're recording at home. Depends on the shape of your room, depends on your microphone, depends on how you're holding your microphone, depends on how close your microphone. Like, there are 200 different variables here, guys. Why do you think one solution doesn't fit for everything? Why do you think so? This is the reason. Because your microphone is different, your voice is different, like everything is different. There are 200 variables. That's why we have equalizers, which are selective faders. So you get to select which one you want more, which one you want less. But in order to select the right way, then you're going to need to do lots of equalizer exercises. And my suggestion, if you're watching this, just start with resonances. Start with resonances. And now I'm going to get into resonances, explaining what they cause. So what happens, guys, when you have a resonance here, let me tell you the biggest issue with the resonance. Why do you even want to remove resonances? Maybe resonances are pretty. You don't know, right? Especially if you're a beginner and if you don't have any correction problem, how are you going to hear? Maybe your listening environment is not fit for that. So like, what is the issue with the resonances? Imagine you have a resonance here, right? Then your vocals around here are not going to be that audible because this is going to mask the whole thing because this thing is so loud, right? This thing is so loud. What happens when this one is so loud? This one is like not loud enough. Imagine you guys, like 5 guys, you're going to bar, right, to hang out with girls. Imagine you have like one friend who is like taller than all of you guys. Imagine, do you think you're going to stand out? No. Do you think you're going to be hurt? No. See, this is the reason. This is resonance. I want you to just remember the tall guy. Anytime you feel like you have to remove some resonances, just think about it. Like, that's the tall guy makes you look bad. And you're not being seen because of that tall guy. That guy is not supposed to be here. Don't invite him the next time. So what I'm trying to say, equalizer is a selective fader. So select your friends carefully. This is just funny a video. Anyway, so let's talk about, again, let's get back to it. Let's be serious. right? This is a serious video. Even though I make this video for a friend who is struggling with the equalizer just like I did in past. But don't worry, we got this. You're not gonna give up. Let's continue. Okay, so this is a resonance, right? This is the resonance. Again, this is you. This resonance makes you look bad. Great. How do you detect this is a resonance? How do you even know? This is how we do it, guys. There are 3 ways of doing it. So I'm going to explain you all 3 of them, but I want you to pick your way. So in time, you're going to see enough options. You're going to see all these different methods, and you're going to pick your own tools. And that's what I suggest people. Especially pick your own equalizer. Pick your own shortcuts. That's number 2. Number 1, pick your equalizer of choice, right? Number 2, pick your shortcuts, your most used tools, right? That's number 2. Number 3, pick your methods. Just watch Grammy engineers, watch your friends, watch your instructors, and then decide and pick your own way, because there are 200 ways of doing something. In music, especially in mixing, especially when it comes to vocal mixing, there are like 200 ways of doing this. So how are we going to know which way is the best? You just have to experience enough to know, oh, I like this way. I want to do it this way. If you don't have your own tools yet in your pockets, then it means that you haven't done enough work. You haven't watched enough. You haven't tested enough on different vocals. So that's probably it. It's all practice. But of course, knowing this stuff is going to help you, of course. But you should know eventually you're going to have to pick your own tools. So I'm going to show you 3 ways of detecting the resonances today. First, we're not going to listen to any vocals right now. I'm just going to demonstrate on the equalizer just so you can get the idea. The first thing is first, you're going to see people doing this, boosting and looking for resonances. This is the most popular one, okay? You're going to see this a lot actually, a lot. Anytime an engineer opens up an equalizer, there's like 3 things they're going to do. Probably they're going to look for resonances this way. And this is the most popular way. Again, this is this is what I've seen the most. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong, but this is what I've seen the most. Do I recommend it? I don't like doing it. It's just not for me. I tried it. I have my own way. I'm going to show you. Okay, so you can do it. This is great. You're going to see lots of engineers, lots of producers doing this. You can do it. If you think this is good for you, then try doing this. Try this. This is number 1. Number 2. This is what they do, guys. Double click. You create something, and then you click on the solo. You go this way. On this one, you solo. You scroll through like to the left, to the right. You find something sounds louder than the others. So imagine you just click here, right? Let's do it again. Double click, create something, create a curve, and then click on the solo and scroll left and right. And the moment you hear something is like louder than the rest, that's the resonance. Take a look at that. I mean, louder than the rest, that might not be always the resonance. Take a look at that. Take a look at that in a more just take a look at that. Spend some time on it. Try to understand if it's like just a fundamental or is it just like a volume boost. Most of the time, if it sounds like out of tune or if it sounds like volume boost, then you may need to take care of it, because yeah, there's some good frequencies you're gonna see here, but when they're up like this, they cause resonance. That's also bad. They might not have to specifically like sounding awful, but they're not supposed to be like up like this, especially like this. They're not supposed to, 1 second, let me just show you. They're not supposed to be like, they're not supposed to be like this. They're not supposed to peak like this, They're not supposed to peak like this. Anyway, so that was the second method, and then we're going to demonstrate on the vocals anyway, so you're going to hear. That was the second. Again, this is the one. You click on it and you solo, right? Which one? What is the first one? First one was this. You click, Double click, you boost it and look for it. You don't solo, you just look for it in the context, in the vocus. That's number one. And this is the second way. You just double click, you click on solo, you go scroll left and right. That's the second famous one. And I start seeing most YouTubers doing this way just because Luca Bertolosi does it this way. He's doing it this way, guys. He doesn't boost, he doesn't, duck or anything. This is how Javi does it, right? And there's my method. Well, I don't have a Grammy yet, but yeah, loading. So, and I have my own method. I double click and then I press option and I scroll down and then I release option. I go this way, scroll up and down. I create like a curve like this and then I solo this way. That way I can see how much I'm ducking, how much this needle is moving. This is so important, guys. How much this thing is moving is important for me because you may not have the greatest ears on the planet. Like you may not be able to hear. I want to see how much this thing is activating when I like move like this. I want to see if this is activating or not. And my analyzer is on post. So if you're a PerQ user, you have an option to put your analyzer on the pre and a post. You're going to see people are doing this and doing that. Like sometimes some people even turn off the analyzer. Right? I don't know how you have to turn it off. I never done it before, but you're going to see people are actually doing that. Yeah. Was it this? I don't remember. But yeah, you get the idea, right? So this is my way. It's not a popular way. It's just my way. So again, what I did, I watched all these people who are doing their thing, and I decided that this is my method because I like seeing this needle is moving. And I like seeing the post analyzer, how much I'm ducking. Am I ducking too much? How is it affecting? I like to see and I like to apply immediately. Maybe in future I could just do this and go find my way. But I just think this was just so much easier for me. And I know my shortcuts. I can totally create this curve super fast. If you don't know your shortcuts, if you're not fast on your PerQ, I don't recommend this because then that's just going to slow you down. But I know my shortcuts. I'm very fast at my shortcuts. And this is part of the job, by the way. If you really, really want to like be good at this stuff, you need your shortcuts. You need your shortcuts. If you were my student, I mean, I already have students, but if this person, yeah, I'm making the video, but if you were my student, you should know that, like, yeah, I will totally make sure that you learn all these shortcuts, not all of them, but at least 3 shortcuts that you're going to need. Because that way, that's just going to speed you. That's going to add so much to your speed. That way, you don't have to worry about that. And enough practice, because if you're not practicing enough, then you're lost. How are you expecting to find yourself unless you get really, really good feedback on your vocal mixing? Then you're not going to get it right? So enough practice and learning the shortcuts. Anyways, this is my way of doing it. I just create like a curve like this. I create the dynamic equalizer, meaning each time there's like a resonance, each time there's something hitting here, it's going to duck it, so I'm going to see it. But I want to see how much this moves. And I want to hear. This just makes me hear a little bit better, in my opinion. When I scroll like this, it just makes me hear more. But again, try the usual method. Like everybody does this. You can go this way. You can go this way. Everybody does this. I've seen everybody does this. And I've seen Luca Bertolosi does this. Now everybody else also does this because he they watch his videos. So this is what he does, okay? So you just scroll left and right, you find, right? And this is my method, double click, option, scroll down, and then release option, and then scroll up and down. So you create this dynamic curve and then solo that way. That way you can see how much this is moving. You can hear when this moves, you can hear that resonance even in a more clear way, which is so crazy. Yeah, this is just my way. Again, I don't recommend exactly, oh, you should just do it exactly my way. No, I don't recommend that. Pick your own way. Pick your own tools. You are the engineer. I'm not your mother, not here trying to teach you stuff. You should just pick your own tools. You should pick your own methods. You should pick your own equalizer, and you should pick your own shortcuts. So I'm never gonna tell people to, hey, just to remember this shortcut, remember that shortcut. Just pick your own tools, pick your own go-to methods. Okay, so now let's find some resonances. Again, one more thing, what we talked about resonances. Resonances is the tall guy. That's the bad guy, tall guy. Maybe he's a good guy, but you never know. The fact that it makes you look bad. So now you know that you need to get rid of that guy first. Do you think you want to get rid, like, polishing you, adding you, like doing all that makeup to you, it's not going to make you look great. This guy is tall. You need to get rid of that guy. So you get the idea, guys. Anyways, this tall guy example was so funny, but yeah, I literally just made it up. Anyways, it helps though. Okay, so now let's talk about this one. So this is my first video on equalizers. So I thought I needed to do this. So these vocals are not the best, but this was the project that I was working on. So I thought I could just give an example. In the next video, when I talk about a little bit more processing on the vocals, I'm gonna give a really like pop example with a lot of vocals. So this one is just one. So let's just analyze. Let's just see what we have. Let's just what we have.
When the time comes, spread your wings, take flight.
So this is EDM vocals, guys. So before we do that, you know what? Let me just play the song for you, so that way it won't sound super weird. But yeah, I'm into different genres. This is just one of the EDM songs, but normally I'm into pop. This is just one of those EDM stuff, you know. 1 second. Yeah, okay. Is it playing? Yeah.
When the time comes, spread your wings, take flight. Embrace the change that you feel. Let the vibe fly.
Anyways, you get the idea, right? These are the vocals that we have right now, and this is the vocals that we're gonna work. First, when I was listening, I already heard like some resonance boost here, and I didn't like. I already realized that there's some stuff that we need to work on, and this one is not mixed yet. But I remember I tracked this vocals with the compressor. I remember that. And I altered the sound, since these are EDM vocals. I altered the sound with vocal bender. Let me show you. I mean, these are the literally hardest stuff, guys. Like, you know, like, if you have like if you're using like plugin like vocal bender, if you alter the sound that way, that means that your job is even more difficult now, right? So yeah, I literally use this plugin. I did all that format stuff, all that crazy stuff. Yeah, I have like Age Modifier is one of my favorite presets. And yeah, so when you alter the sound like this, you know, you change the format, right? Then you even create even more issues. So I was a little bit dumb. I didn't do any equalizing before I run it through vocal bender, because what happens, it just makes it sound super boomy. So I highly recommend people to getting rid of those resonances first, and then if they're gonna process in a crazy way, then they should do it after. But again, I was just rushing, I guess, so I didn't do it that way. That's why we have even more resonances now. So I'm gonna show you now what those are.
When the time comes, spread your wings, take flight. When the time
Let's just focus on that part. Okay. Let's focus on that part. Yeah, let's just Command L.
When the time comes, spread your. When the time comes, spread your.
Seems like I literally cut the whole thing, probably, which is not ideal. Yeah, I do things differently now. Let's just listen to the whole thing.
When the time comes, spread your wings, take flight. When the time comes, spread your wings, take.
Guys, before we do that, I detect an issue here. Do you understand this issue? Like, look at this noise here. Okay, so I'm gonna use a gate plugin for that. You can use any gate plugin, but I'm gonna use Pro C2. Pro G, sorry, Pro G. I'm gonna use Pro G because like before you equalize anything, you need to get rid of those issues, those silences. If you have like a silence breath part, especially there's like, this one is fine, but this is like, I hear stuff. You can either cut those or you can get rid of them with the Pro G. Let's see, Pro G, I should have it here. Sorry guys, it's loading. This is Ableton 10. This project was on Ableton 10. Okay, so Pro G. Let's clear all. Pro G. Okay, before I start equalizing things, I wanna apply Pro G. Again, if you have a gate plugin on Logic or on Pro Tools or anywhere, you can do the same thing with that too. So first, I'm just gonna detect.
Spread your wings, take flight. When the time comes, spread your wings, take flight.
This is the part that I was trying to attack. See? It got rid of it. Check.
Spread your wings.
If I didn't have this,
Spread your wings.
actually, I can still hear it sounds great, but one second, maybe.
Spread your wings, take flight. When the time comes, spread your wings, take flight. When the time comes, spread your wings.
Exactly. So I was able to get rid of that with the Pro G. Dope. So that's it. I'm done. I'm ready to do for the next step. So now I can do the equalizer. Okay.
Spread your wings, take flight.
Now let's just lower the volume of it a little bit so that way you don't go deaf because of me. Let's just like loop this section maybe so we can identify some resonances.
When the time comes, spread your wings, take. When the time comes.
Look at these resonances. So again, I'm gonna do my method. Double click something, go like this, and option, drag up and down, and I got this, and I'm gonna listen now. Oh my god, I heard something there. Oh, there's so many. I feel like there's so many here. Let's just listen to all of them. Let's just listen to the whole thing, guys. Yeah. Because I hear them like, yeah, you may not see so bad on the equalizer, but I can actually hear them right now. And I'm using AutoZ MM500. But it doesn't matter, like any headphone with the correction plugin on, you can hear those, so. Oh my god, that's just so bad. That was just so bad, like. Oh, that's so bad, guys. Ooh, okay, great. That's number one. Again, so I'm gonna do my own method. I just click anywhere. Like, I don't let analyzer to fool me, because if I let analyzer is all over the place, right? So I don't let analyzer to fool me. I like to listen and hear something. Okay, let's go. I'm gonna go a little bit like this. Okay. I don't like that. Ah, that's ugly. That's ugly. That's just ugly. Oh. Sorry, guys. I can hear that whole thing, you know. Oh, yeah. So this is how I do it. Again, I'm gonna look for more now. I found one, I guess. Oh, that was so bad. That was so bad. Listen to this, guys. Just wait how it gets super loud at some point. Ah, when she said, when she says, oh my god, it gets so loud there. See, this is how you actually find them. I want to check on the analyzer. See, there's one here too. Let's see if it's actually so bad. Let's see. I want to see how bad it is. Oops, not this one. Double click, option, drag it down, and then release option. Don't touch option anymore. Scroll down and up. Scroll down and up so you can narrow this thing, right? And then you can always like go a little bit like this so you can see how much you're affecting it, right? Okay, let's go now. Oh. Oh my god, that was so bad. Oh, that's just so bad. Like, you know, again, guys, this is all caused by bad microphone. Yeah, I guess I remember. Yeah, I tried. Oh, yeah, a bunch of microphones here. I don't know which one I did. I remember, all I remember that I was like literally rushing this thing. Oh, okay. So, okay, that's a bad one. Oh, okay. I want to check these areas now. Okay, these areas a little bit tricky now because these are including the body. So when you take out too much from this area, like you want to make that decision later on. That's like a tone shaping decision. So I want you to know one thing. When you have these are resonances, right? These are here and there. It's not always there. But there's one thing you need to know. I want you to like, I'm just gonna like put like a utility plugin so that way you don't have to listen to the vocals each time, but you can still we can still talk about those. So when you look at this, guys, what do you think this is? This one is fundamental. That's the first one, right? So fundamental is here and the fundamental is there. Let's just make this like even bigger now, very large. Look at this, guys. So this is fundamental again. The first one is always your fundamental. So fundamental goes here, moves there, because the note is changing. When I change a note, it's actually moving, right? The fundamental is not staying there. It's actually moving. That's why it makes it a little bit more tricky, because sometimes when you duck something, you eventually thin out the vocals because you're ducking too much, because that was actually a fundamental. Because what happens when your fundamental is here, then you end up ducking the whole thing, right? So you may want to consider those when you're actually like lowering this stuff. You may want to also consider those. You don't want to like do these ducking crazy ducks. And if you end up doing more than 5, that's not really so ideal. Look at this one. I want to check this one. 1 second. I want to look at this one. This one looks pretty loud and it shouldn't be there. So I'm going to look at that one. Let's look at that one too. And then we talk about the fundamentals after. Let's talk about which one we were talking about. This one. Okay, it's supposed to be somewhere here. Double click, option, drag it down. Scroll up and down, find your curve. Now let's listen. Oh, that was bad. That was bad. I'm glad we're taking that out. Oh my god, that was so bad. Oh, that's so bad. Again, there's one more here. Oh my god, so bad. Again, let's just double click. Do this. Do this. Right. Yeah, it's just too much. Spread your wings, take flight. When the time comes, spread your wings. Okay, so the fundamentals. For the fundamentals, I'm gonna show you the like a different way for the fundamentals. But first things first, like we get rid of some of the resonances here actually. And we're not ducking too much. We're not ducking like crazy because you're going to see people are ducking like crazy. You're not going to need to duck that much. So first, I just wanted to show you this resonance areas that's likely to happen. For the fundamentals, we have different solutions because your bands can be a little bit wider. So it won't affect each of the fundamentals differently. So your bands, you can actually put a little bit more wider bands. Spread your wings, take flight. But that's gonna be like tone shaping. So I don't want to talk about that because when it comes to fundamental, guys, that's just gonna be in tone shaping. I'm not gonna talk about that right now. After this one, after we wrap up this one. So now we get rid of some of the tall guys, right? What happens, do you think? Like, let's say I got rid of some of the tall guys. What do you think is going to happen to the signal? Do you really like want to bounce it and see it? Because like you may actually get lower waveform actually. Do you want to see it? Like we can totally do it. I can totally duplicate this. Right. Now we have same thing both. And we can visually see. So you can see that I can actually prove you that your equalizer is your fader. We can do that. Let's see. This is the one original. This is the one I will freeze flatten. Okay, so are you ready? Are you ready for the illusion? Because, I mean, you're going to see small changes. Don't expect to see like huge changes, right? Because we're like ducking small resonances. Like we're ducking those resonances, but we're not ducking like crazy. So you're going to see small adjustments on the waveform and you're going to see smoother waveform. Check. Did you see that? Did you see that? Like, let's go back. Do you see that? I just want you to look at this and see, guys. That's all. Like, seriously. Flatten. I just want you to look at this. See? Do you see that? Now you believe me that equalizer is your fader. Right? Imagine I try to do this, like get rid of these like stuff with the limiter, but it still sounds like boomy. It still sounds like it's just not sound, it doesn't sound clear. It kills the intelligibility of the vocals. Okay, so this was, yeah, the first thing I recommended. That was it. So anyway, so we had our equalizer, right? We had our curves. Great. So now I kind of want to like jump into the next one because I don't want to do the tone shaping on the same equalizer. I mean, we can do it. It's totally fine. We can totally do it. But I want to like open up a new equalizer, show you on the new waveform, a little bit more balanced waveform. Again, when you're ducking those resonances, don't go crazy. Don't go too deep because you're going to like mess up with the whole waveform if you're going too crazy. You want to be gentle with the audio, guys. You want to be gentle with the audio. Unless the audio is so crappy, then you can totally like, you can do all that crap stuff. Like my recommendation, just be gentle. Be gentle brush strokes, guys. That's just so important. I'm going to go back to my regular size. So, okay, now we're going to talk about, okay, we got rid of some of the resonances, meaning we opened up the sound a little bit more. Do you want to do before or after with the hearing? I mean, you can hear the difference or not. Like, I just wanted to like check if you can actually hear the difference. So we do Pro G, Pro Q, Command G. I'm gonna mute it. I'm gonna play it.
When the time comes, spread your wings, take flight.
After.
When the time comes, spread your wings, take flight. When the time comes, spread your wings,
Guys,
take flight.
this one, like this note, I could totally hear that resonance making it loud, and it's not a good loudness. It's not a good loudness. Like, yeah. And also this one too. Yeah, it's like uncontrolled, you know. It sounds like it hurts your ear, you know, like if you can hear that. And if you're not able to hear that, then try some ear training. Yeah, try to spend some more time on equalizers. Okay, so now next step. So we got rid of some of the resonances. Second thing is the tone shaping, guys. After you get rid of your resonances, now you have a little bit more open sound. Tone shaping, there's still some subtractive equalizer that you need to do. But for this vocals, we didn't have much boominess. I mean, not the boominess. We didn't have so much in the plosives. So I want you to know, like, they're like plosives in the vocals sometimes, and they live in this area. They live in this area, and there's a way you can get rid of them. You can do it this way. You can just go listen to those plosives. You can get rid of them below 200, guys, below 200. Just look at that number. You're always going to see them below 200, below 100. But when you try to duck so much, when you try to get rid of those plosives in a wild way, then you kill the presence of the vocals. I mean, you kill the fundamentals. So be careful with that. Depends on the song, you may actually need that. Depends on the song, you may need that. Most songs, maybe you're not gonna need that, but depends on the song again. That gives you the warmth, that gives you the body, that gives you the strength of the vocals, right? The warmth comes from between 100 and 300, 400, right? Warm vibe of a vocal comes from those areas. But in modern mixes, when we have like so many instruments, we don't really need that warm. We just need the shine, bright part. We need the mid presence, right? Intimate vibe. We need those stuff. So you're gonna see people are ducking that stuff, and then what happens when you duck too much? You kill the presence of the vocals, and this is called tone shaping. So now we're done with the resonances. Now we're gonna talk about tone shaping. The most common scenarios I'm gonna show you. You're gonna see this. You're gonna see this all the time. They're just gonna cut whatever they don't need. What do they cut here, guys? What do you think they cut? Plosives. Low rumble of the vocal. Especially the plosives. And all that room noise. Yeah. All that stuff, unnecessary stuff, they cut. You're gonna see people cutting this way a lot. I'm not really, I still have mixed feelings about putting high pass filters on stuff, but I don't want to go crazy on this. Anytime I put a high pass filter, I always use linear phase. So that way I don't cause any phase issues, but we're not going to talk about the phase issues right now. In fact, let me just chill a little bit. Actually, why not? Let's talk about phase issue. My way of doing things, anytime I cut these vocals, if I end up cutting high pass filter, I'm against high pass filters. But if I end up doing it, I'm gonna choose linear phase. So normally what I do, let me show you what I do normally. Imagine I'm just recording the vocals right now, right? Okay, so I recorded those vocals. So immediately I put like a linear phase filter. I just cut those stuff immediately. A linear phase is not going to shift. It's not going to make like smearing effect because I'm not a bass guitar. I'm not a drum. So it's not going to like create those smearing effect in my low end because I don't really have low end. All I have like the rumble. So it doesn't cause much damage. And my voice is like pretty high anyway. So yeah, for my voice, it doesn't cause damage. but people say that when you put linear phase equalizer, it causes like some smear effect. Like, yeah, they just talk, you know. You're gonna see those people are talking about it, but it causes smear effect, but you don't even hear that. Where do you hear that? This is so much more important to me. Like, I don't want to shift the phase, because when you shift the phase, you're gonna see these volumes are gonna jump up, and then your meter is gonna be like crazy. Your meter is gonna be like, what's up? What's happening? Did you just boosted the volume like 5 dB? You're like, no. And the meter is gonna, but you did. Now I had to put a limiter on it. See, this is like part of this work is like getting along with your DAW, because they didn't have to deal with this thing back in those days. I've never done any analog stuff in my life. I'm not that old, but they didn't have those issues back in the day. They were good. But here, when we're trying to do everything on the equalizer, we're doing the boost and we're shifting the phase, and the meter goes crazy. Meter is like, oh wow, you put another extra 5 dB that I can't take care of you. We can't get along. And then what happens? Your limiter is like pushing too hard, working so hard, damaging your sound. That's how you do it. That's how you damage your sound. Put high pass filter on everything. That's just my views. You're going to see, oh my God, 80% of the people, they're just going to put a high pass filter, but they're not going to put in a linear. I prefer putting in a linear. Yeah, I used to be, you know, what I used to do, guys, what I used to do just to get rid of the lower and rumble, I used to do this, actually. I used to do this. So this is like high shaft, right? So I used to do like this type of high shaft, double click, so make it steep. And then I go here, I get rid of the rumble. So as long as I'm not cutting the whole thing, I'm not shifting the phase too much. So I could actually use like a zero latency. So I'm actually fine. This is what I used to do. So each time it hits here, like each time I have like a low rumble, and it actually... By the way, sorry, I was not supposed to play that. Okay, let's just talk on the analyzer. I'm gonna mute it though. So we could just talk about it. See, each time it hits, each time that there's like an energy going on in this section, it ducks. But it's ducking dynamically. So it's still not cutting the whole thing. Imagine like I cut your arm and then I expect you to just make me a coffee with that arm. Like, how are we going to be able to do it, right? Like, you can't. Instead, I'm just like, you know, like, yeah, this is what I used to do. And then I figured like linear phase gives me like nice option as long as this curve is not so bad. Like, this is a good way of cutting. This is what I used to do again. Because it kills the energy only when it's there. It kills the energy in a dynamic way. So this is another safe way to do it. But again, I mean, you're going to see everybody, like, guys, everybody's going to do this. And you're going to see this. This is what people do. Okay. This is what everybody does. You pick your own way. I want to be really good at what I do. And I have respect to signal. Signal is God to me. I love audio. I don't want to mess up the audio. These are my views. Because getting a good vocal performance is so hard. And I just don't feel like messing it up. And even if it's not a good vocal performance, I don't care. It's audio. It's what I have. Why would I mess it up? This is just my views. And why would I confuse my meter? So I just don't like shifting the phase. Because what happens, guys, when you shift all that phase in the throughout the entire track on each channels, what happens, guys, and then all that phase shift adds on top of each other. And then what happens, guys, like you're losing dB, you're losing headroom. And then what do you have to do? You go on RX, you fix those phase issues. RX does it for you, and then you gain those headroom back, but you're causing all those artifacts. That's when you are actually causing that smearing, not this way. When you do it on the individual stuff, you're not doing that. You're not killing the whole thing. So these are like, yeah, too advanced maybe. But, you know, like, pick your own method, guys. If you're going to do it this way, but you're never going to see me do it this way. I mean, sometimes I may if I'm too lazy. But yeah, this is what you're gonna see. So that's why I'm gonna apply today, just because everybody does that. And yeah. Yeah, so, but again, this is not what I like. Again, I'm probably in the 2%. So, yeah, I know I'm in the 2%. I don't mind. Okay, and this is the tone shape and they do. Okay, get rid of the low and rumble. Roll and rumble, and what else we have here? Plosives. So they get rid of that. Okay, that's how they do it. And then let's look at this analyzer. Seems like this is my fundamental. Look, it's moving here, it's moving here. So fundamental is the biggest one. Anytime you see some fundamentals here and the harmonics are larger than fundamentals, then you have problems. You may actually tweak some more. You may actually have to like do some more corrective stuff. So keep that in your mind. This happened to me so many times. I'm like confused. Bro, this is the fundamental. What's up with this? Why is this one more loud? It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. Yeah, it shouldn't be. It simply shouldn't be. That's it. Like, yeah, you may need to take care of those areas. So, this one, like, actually, you know what? Let's just do this one corrective too. Seems like my fundamental is never going there. Anyways, I'm checking my fundamental. Okay, my fundamental is here and here. Okay, so I'm not ducking because I also want to pay attention. If my fundamental goes here, that's going to be super loud. Am I ducking that too? So these are the stuff to consider, okay? Okay, so just this one is nice to control a little bit. Only when it's there. And there's one more. Yeah. Again, it's pretty bad vocals, guys. I'm sorry. I altered it too much. I altered it without putting any equalizers. This one was loud. Okay, you can do this. Okay, so I literally got rid of it. I mean, controlled it a little bit without even seeing what I'm doing. And also this one. I also want to control this one. See, like very gentle. I'm like super gentle. Yeah, I do this. Like how gentle I am. Check how gentle this is. Yeah, only when it's there. So it's controls only when it's there. Great. Do you see the control? Like I don't even have to listen to what I'm doing, literally. Like I can see it in the analyzer and it's like too much. And this is my fundamental. And these are like higher, the tall guys, they shouldn't be you. It's your birthday, guys. If you have like 5 tall friends coming to your birthday and make you look bad, don't invite them, you know? It's your birthday. Do you know what I mean? You're supposed to be the fundamental and you're supposed to be you're the most important. Okay, so that's number 1. So I did a little bit more controlling on this stuff, and then this is your fundamental, right? See, it moves. You can control the fundamentals in a broader way. You're gonna see people doing this way, adding like a dynamic equalizer, but it's like wider. This is like wider. So it's still controlling, but it controls in a wide band. Why? Why do you think so? Why do you think these are so narrow? Because these are resonances. But this is a fundamental. You can't just like go this like this on your fundamental. Because it moves here, it moves here, it moves here. You want it to duck. You want it to balance in a more gentle way. And this is a way to do it. This is most of the time you're gonna see this move a lot. That's how they control the fundamental, because fundamental is here, here, here. There's like 3 notes already in the song, right? In the section, there's like 3 notes. So this is how they do it. When they control the fundamentals, they always go wide. Just keep that in your mind. If you want to control your fundamentals, if they're like too poking out like crazy, then this is how you can control it. So that way you can, your goal is to have like overall like a nice balance on your vocals. That's your goal. See, this fundament is still poking out. There's a different way to do that, but I'm not gonna show you that now because we are using multi-band compression for that stuff. When it comes to fundamental stuff, it's so much better to use multi-band compression. That's why I'm not doing it right now here. I mean, I did it just to demonstrate you that, just to show you how they do it. Because multi-band compression is actually gonna do like almost like the similar thing. It's just gonna compress in a broader way, but you get the idea, right? So this is the area, this is the fundamentals, where fundamental lives, depends on the song, of course. Fundamental 1, 2, 3, first 4 notes, you check how it moves to the left, how it moves to the right, and then you create like a wide band. That's how you control it. Don't ever do this on your fundamentals. I see, guys, like, let me just be honest with you. Just because people have soothe, they just put soothe on it, on the fundamental. I do sometimes too, guys, like, but you know, if it's like back vocal, I mean, this is a way too. But like, yeah, the soothe is very, very surgical. You know what is so popular lately? Okay, this is nice because you're not doing too much. You're not ducking so much. You're controlling, right? This is nice. But I've seen people going crazy with those fundamentals like this. Then I'm not going to recommend soothe to you anymore because you don't have to use it. This is how you use it. You don't have to use it, especially for the fundamentals. Look how careful I am. Like how careful I was. I mean, you know, see, like, yeah, this is how broad you want to do it broad. But soothe does it in a surgical way. And that's an issue for you. And if you're not gentle on controlling the fundamentals on soothe, then you know, like, try your own ways. You're gonna find out that this is not gonna sound good. Anyways, you're gonna find out. Lesson is gonna be learned, I know, but you just need to practice. You need to suffer more, you know, to be able to earn. But you know what is so good for soothe? Soothe, I tested it. I didn't like for the fundamental controlling. I prefer Pro MB. I don't even like Pro Q for fundamental controlling because, again, I totally forgot. This is supposed to be a little bit broader, a little bit wider. And Pro MB, I like it a little bit more on the Pro MB, controlling it on the Pro MB. Or what I do, guys, I actually make this like a Pro MB. So I make it a little more steep. When it's more steep, it's going to capture more fundamentals, all 3 of them. So it's just nice. It's a nice way to do it. You can also do it this way. So I'm going to get rid of this now. I don't want to control the fundamentals now. You're going to see people controlling sibilants on soothe, but let's not get into the soothe yet. So where is the sibilant? When you look at this, so now you know where the fundamental is. Let's just create our fake stuff. Again, I don't normally do this on Pro Q. But I'm just going to do it now just to demonstrate how I will do it if I had only one tool, this is how I will do it. But I will make sure I create like a gentle, like more broader brush because you don't want to go surgical on those ones. Those are not resonances, guys. Those are your fundamentals. Don't go surgical like this. It's not going to sound pleasant. You're going to kill all the energy around it too. It's just not going to, this is nice. This is good. It's controlling it, right? And controlling this one too a little bit. So, yeah. Okay. This was first. We get rid of the rumble. First we get rid of resonances. Second, we control the fundamentals. Fundamentals, again, one note poking out the best. That's your birthday. That's you. But you still need to be controlled. You shouldn't, you're going to need some controlling to do, right? So again, okay, that's it. And then number four. And then I'm going to get into tone shaping after. Number 4, you need to control. These are all corrected stuff. So far, all I'm doing is to control. If you get this part, you're great. Because most of the vocals, when you actually control them on equalizer, they already sound great. Like, you don't even have to do any tone shaping after, because you already fix all those problematic areas that are masking your beautiful vocals. which is exactly what happens most of the time. There's so much masking happening, guys. You think, but my vocals sound boomy. Guess what? You haven't carved out, like, you haven't removed any resonance. Of course, they sound like you're boomy. And you're trying to, like, get rid of the boomy part by ducking 300 all completely. But that was caused by, like, all these resonances. They were masking your vocals, and that was because all that stuff, they were masking your vocals. That's what was happening in the first place. Okay, so we want to fix stuff first. We're still subtracting, guys, literally. We're still on the equalizer. We're still spending our time just to subtract things. Okay, the last one, number 4, guys. Number 4, corrective equalizer. Again, we're still subtracting. This is called subtractive equalizer, okay? But again, you're never going to see me high passing stuff on a zero latency fader, but yeah, I'm just gonna do, like, show you how everybody does and how I don't do things anyway. So let's get into sibilance now. You're gonna see people doing some ducking around between 7K, 10K. This is like SS sounds, right? And you're gonna see people ducking between 3 to 5K. Some areas like those sounds are living in this area, and you're gonna see those people are ducking those. And this vocal sample, I didn't hear any. I will check if you're gonna listen later, but right now we are literally, like, equalizing without seeing anything. Like you wanna be so good at looking at your equalizer that you eventually get good at it. Like, you don't even have to see it. I mean, of course, I recommend hearing it, of course, but right now I'm just talking too much, so yeah. Okay, so now, again, let's talk about the sibilance, and now we're going to talk about T area later. So sibilance is going to happen most of the time between 7K to 10K. So my my S's normally, because of my microphone, probably, I believe I use C414 for this, but since I altered the sound in a very bad way, that's why it doesn't sound great. So normal C414 is not a bad microphone. So what you can do for the S's, this is what you can do. Double click, create like a dynamic band, and you go this way. In fact, I make it a little bit more steep. So I press Shift Option, double click, just to make it more steep. So I can just grab those entire area, because I know this is the sibilance. I don't go crazy with the sibilance control. I just create, like, bands like this. Oops, not like this. Again, like this, and then I make them steep. I go here. So that's mostly how I control them. Sometimes I control them in a double way. Great, so I'm literally doing it this way. You can do it this way. For the sibilance, depends on the sibilance you have. I figured that I had, like, really, really wide sibilances. Like, look at this whole area. It's wide. It's all sibilance, guys. It's all sibilance. I'm going to make you listen all of this stuff, and then you're going to see, like, wow, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, she was right. Like, yeah, that's all sibilance. Exactly, yeah. And the reason you want to control the sibilances here, because later on you could actually boost it to the moon. But if you don't control this, when you bring this up, those vocals are going to be, like, so sibilant. That's another reason you want to really, really control your sibilances. And in fact, what I do when I have, like, a sibilance part on my vocal recording, first I get rid of it by hand. So let me see where we are with the sibilance. This is the one, okay. Let me see where we are with the sibilance.
When the time comes, spread your wings. When the time comes, spread your wings.
This is the sibilance, right? Normally, when I record the vocals, this is what I do, guys. I cut this. I go and lower the volume of it. Okay, lower the volume of it. You can do it that way. this is my method, but you don't have to do it that way. You can always like do it on the equalizer too. You can use a de-esser. I'm going to show you. But since we are talking about all about vocals, and I'm only demonstrating one thing, and it's my pro cue, and you can also do that. But in this case, so now on this example, I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna go back so we can see those sibilances. I'm just trying to show you like where everything lives on the equalizer, so you get the idea. So let's listen.
Spread your wings, take.
Check.
Press, 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 press.
Do you see that? That's sibilance. How about this one?
Press, 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 press.
This is also sibilant. So my sibilance is like all over the place. So I can totally like go a little bit more deep on this one.
Press, 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 press.
In fact, I'm just gonna do one band. I'm gonna make it wide like this. I'm gonna make it a little bit more speed, because when I put two bands, then it just ducks in the middle like a little bit more, so I don't like it. That's it. That's your sibilance.
Press, 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 press.
This is it. This is the area.
Press, 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 press.
You can do that. Now let's listen to the whole vocal now. Okay.
When the time comes, spread your wings, take flight.
I mean, we still didn't get rid of it completely. We couldn't. In fact, I have a method for that. You can actually really do it on the pro cue. You don't have to go grab a de-esser. You can do it, but right now we're just on pro cue. We're doing everything on pro cue. So in fact, what I do, I'm gonna duck it a little bit more. Check now what happens.
When the time comes, spread your wings, take flight.
I'm gonna go to that section a little bit more.
Spread your wings, spread your wings. Fly, spread your wings.
Great. So now I apply this, but look how bad this is. Look how broad this is. This is literally affecting the entire sound. Now it's gonna sound super dark. How do I manage this? How do I manage this? Let me show you. You go here, click on your pro cue, configure, so you can automate that. You're gonna automate this button on and off. It's gonna switch on and off. So it's gonna switch on when there's an S, and you're gonna decide that. You can do that. And then configure, so I'm gonna go here on this button. This is the button, and yeah, this is the one. Okay, now it's off. But it's gonna be on, and it's off. It's gonna be on and it's off. When do you want this to be on? I'm gonna show, yeah. Show automation. So I'm gonna automate that. I want this to be enabled on the S. Okay, that's what I do. And the rest, I'm not gonna touch the rest. Disable. That's it. That's it. So when you go here, you're gonna see this is inactive. So it's only active when I want it. So this is your pro cue can be your de-esser, but make sure you automate that, because what happens when you remove all those intelligible frequencies from your vocals, then you lose the intelligibility, you lose the presence of the vocals. I mean, you can still control them, but in this case, we have like huge S's. We have like a lot, right? We have like as loud as a fundamental. Look at this, guys. This is a fundamental, your first note, right? Look at the S. Look how loud this is. That's why I had to go so deep on this one, right? But what happened when you go that deep, then you're affecting this one too. You're affecting the whole vocal. And how do you manage that? You're going to have to tell your equalizer that, hey, I want you to activate this button and on the S's, and I want you to deactivate when the S is done. That's how you manage it. But of course, we have de-essers for that. You can use any de-esser, and a de-esser is going to take care of that. Some de-esser are going to darken your sounds. I'm not going to get into that now. I'm just like trying to explain everything to you on the equalizer. Like literally, you can do anything on the equalizer. Just trying to explain as much as I can here. So this is how you can actually manage your S's. But again, is it the best way? No. I normally duck my S's right after I record. Right after I record, I gain automate them because that way I don't have to deal with it again. That way they don't have to sound extremely loud or distracting. So that way when I try to add like a de-esser, it's not going to change the whole thing. Because when your S is too loud, when you put a de-esser plugin, that makes it dark. That makes the whole thing dark. So it's so much better to just like put them in a nice gain and then add whatever you want after. Okay, so this is the equalizer, guys. This is the equalizer that we have. I'm sure it's gonna sound so much better now. So we're gonna talk about chi and t sounds. Let's just listen where we have those. Look at this. This time, when she says time, right? Let's check where it is. Always wanna look out for this is so important. You always wanna check those T, S, and the plosives because they are so distractive. Like they are not allowing your vocals to shine. Those are the first thing. If you're not taking care of those three things, then please don't expect your vocals to sound top notch because you're not taking care of those first. You really, really have to dial into those. You really have to de-ess in a good way. Like what I did was like, I was literally automating the S, right? I mean, you can do it in a million ways. You can de-ess, but you just want to like do those, take care of those first before you apply any tone shaping, which I'm going to get into that. But before we have one more issue, right? We need to fix this one too. What is that? T. Where is that sound? That's too loud. Where is that sound? I want to like come. Should be somewhere here. Oh, that's just resonance was so bad. Yeah, it's a little bit here. Do you see? Actually, not bad. 1 second. Yeah, we still have so many resonances. Yeah. But this one is a little bit loud. So like this one comes sound like there's a really good way of doing it. Normally you can really use like a limiter, and limiter takes care of this one. Limiter takes care of this one because this K sound is not so bad. It doesn't sound super terrible, but that could be controlled with the limiter later on. So just keep that in your mind. I mean, I still added something, but like I don't want to add it actually because like, yeah, it doesn't sound terrible. It just needs to be controlled with the limiter because limiter is just going to control it without making it dark. Because she says K comes, right? Limiter is going to like take care of that without making it sound dark. So for those type of stuff, like if it's the first transient, I am a little bit careful of ducking because it's the first one. The first comes. If I duck it, then it's not going to sound like comes, you know, whereas I'm going to lose that punch. So I'm a little bit careful on that one. So I'll keep that one. I'll probably leave that to the limiter. Okay. That's how you make those decisions. Of course, I'm Berlin and I will totally use the linear phase equalizer. Let's listen like if there's like a huge difference. Come on, L.
flight. When the time comes, spread your wings, take flight.
Of course, we have so many S's, but you know what you can do? You can totally put like a de-esser. Again, we're not talking about de-essers today. Just know that this is like the area that sibilance lives. This is the area that your P, chi, K sounds live, chu, chu, chu sounds live. Sometimes they're not too harsh, but some ch, 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 ch sounds are actually missed out. When I say around you, when I say around you, there's like a chu sound, and that lives like in a very nasty area. Then nobody likes that sound. That's just terrible. Yeah, that sounds really bad. So just keep those stuff in mind when you're like mixing vocals. Like some certain words have those. So, and pay attention, like if you're ducking, like comes, when I duck the comes, like I don't see like it doesn't sound completely awful. And that could be really easily be controlled by a limiter in a more transparent way, because it's a transient. It's a transient, and I don't want to completely get rid of it. I just want to duck it a little bit, push it back. I don't want to darken that, you know, like this is like a selective equalizer. It's just, I don't want to make it sound like dark, you know, like, yeah, I still want it there because the punch, the first word, and I'm just going to control it with a limiter. So I'm not worried about that one. You get the idea. For the de-esser, you can always map it. You can inactivate, deactivate it. Let's just show automation so we can just do a little bit more de-essing.
When the time comes, spread your wings.
Okay, so spray.
Spread your wings. Spread your wings. Spread your wings. Spread your wings.
Okay.
Spread your.
Okay, seems like I have some latency on this project. That's another reason, like it's just, yeah.
Spread your.
See, it's much better, right? Much better, right, guys?
Spread your wings. Spread your wings. Spread your wings. Take flight. Your wings.
And yeah, I'll have a little bit more here. Enabled.
Your wings. Take flight.
And I have one here.
Take flight.
Yeah, this one, so bad.
Take flight. Take flight. Take flight.
Again, the reason this is not really performing great because I'm on Ableton 10 now, and it's causing me a lot of latency right now, so you're not even able to hear on time. Normally I use it on Ableton 11, but just because this is like an old song, then I had to go back and fix this on Ableton 10, so that's just another issue. So
take flight. When the time comes, spread your wings, take flight.
I also want to do this one.
Take flight.
Yeah, I want to make this one a little bit like, yeah, there's like, let's see, I want to okay, so you can use like a S, you can use like this section just to de-ess the stuff. Okay, so let's say if you take care of all that stuff, right? Of course, I wouldn't do my de-essing like that. I would probably use like a decent de-esser. I would just cut those stuff, manually gain, automate those de-essing S's, which sounds so much better into my ears. Of course, I wouldn't do exactly what I did here on just one equalizer. This is just to show you the demonstration of it. But what you do after, guys, like, let me just quickly show you per cue. So we did some more corrective stuff, right? So now we're gonna do a little bit of tone shaping, per cue. So I don't think I'm gonna do, like, again, it's always like depends on the voice, guys. Depends on the voice. When you're doing the tone shaping, you're gonna see people boosting some of these areas, like 1K. You're gonna see them boosting those areas just to make it sound more audible in the mix. So when it comes to tone shaping, guys, don't do this alone. How you should do this? You should do it in the context. So all you did, this is your corrective equalizer, right? What is this? This is your corrective equalizer. Let's just like put a name on it. Yeah. Let's just put subtractive. Okay, this is your subtractive equalizer, right? And this is your corrective equalizer. Tone shaping. This is your tone shaping. And you don't go ahead and just start tone shaping your stuff. Let me just type it, tone shape. Okay. Oh my God, my typing is terrible. Shape today. Okay, so that is your tone shaping equalizer, right? So you can do your subtractive equalizer by just listening to that vocal. You don't have to listen to it in the context. You can still fix those stuff without listening to in the entire song. But when it comes to tone shaping, two things you need to pay attention here. There's two things you need to pay attention. Number one, the mix, the context. So it's a good idea to do your tone shaping in the context. I'm just going to give you a very quick example and then we're going to end the video. We're going to continue with the part 2. But I just wanted to point these out to you. When you're doing the tone shaping, just listen to the mix. Try to tone shape that way. Don't try to take out too much away from those 300s. Like you're going to see, depends on the song. You're going to see people are like ducking those low mids. But some songs need it. Sometimes like your fundamentals are not that strong and you're going to need that warmth and you're going to have to push it. So it depends on the scenario, right? That's why. And depends on the song, depends on the context, depends on the singer, depends on the microphone they use, depends on everything. Literally, depends on literally everything. Okay, so that is number 1, the mix. What you need to consider, the mix and your tone shaping. And what are you trying to achieve with that? What type of tone you're trying to achieve in the mix, in the context. The second thing, this is so important, reference. What is your reference? What are you going to sound like? What do you want to sound like? Do you want to sound like a lo-fi singer? Then you're going to have to cut your highs. You're going to have to cut your low mids. Maybe you're going to push some of it around like 1K, 2K maybe to make it more sound like breathy and sexy and nice. We can totally like demonstrate something like really fast here. Let's just demonstrate something really fast. Normally, I wouldn't do it this way. I will just listen to it in the context and decide what the song needs from me. If it's an EDM vocal, I probably just like do this, but of course I wouldn't do it on the parametric equalizer. That's why. And I probably will get rid of some of the stuff. I could just probably give like a little bit of presence. Since I got rid of all the bad stuff, now I can actually tone shape. This is tone shaping, guys. Tone shaping, you use broad brush strokes. You don't just like tone shape like this. You don't tone shape like this. This is not tone shaping. This is not tone shaping. Don't tone shape like this. Tone shaping, always broad, like this. You're tone shaping. You're like cutting some of this stuff. You're bringing some of the stuff. So there's like so much involved when it comes to tone shaping. So there's like a yin-yang theory. Let me explain you that too. Oh my God, I'm a little bit tired, but I really want to explain this stuff to you so you can literally have all of them in one video. So that way maybe like I could save you some time. Let's take like a 2-minute break. Actually, no, I don't need to take a break. Okay, so when it comes to tone shaping of the vocals, you're gonna have something like this. Yin yang. They call it yin yang. I've seen master engineers actually do it. Very interesting. And I've seen people who are mixing vocals actually doing it. Especially for the vocals, for the mastering, for like different, sometimes some bass, especially for bass. I've seen people are doing it for bass too, because when you duck something, guys, you know what happens? You're actually killing some of these frequencies. That's why you want to boost it. That's why they call it yin yang. Okay? So this is like a very popular thing that you're gonna see. Again, what we're doing right now, remember what we're doing, we're tone shaping. What is this, guys? What is this? So, I mean, at this point, you, like, if you watch the whole thing, now you know what this is probably. What is this? Resonance ducking. Resonance killing. What is this? Oh, it's like a broad shape. Oh, seems like I ducked some of the stuff. I was tone shaping. Oh, now it makes sense because I was literally tone shaping. I was like increasing this a little bit because I did some tone shaping here. Now I'm trying some yin yang to see if it works. I'm not saying these are gonna work exactly the same time. By 80% of the time, this is what you're gonna see. If somebody is like, if they're ducking something, you're gonna see them boosting somewhere here. You're going to see it a lot. And this is called tone shaping. Most common moves. This is also tone shaping. We call this air. You boost to the high and it's air. But what is the disadvantage of this type of tone shaping? What do you think can happen? Sibilance, because sibilance is here. But I don't hear those areas. But sibilance is here. That's why sometimes you're going to see them tone shaping like this. Sibilance. When you're applying those sibilance, there's a reason why you do it. Because that way after you can actually tone shape, you can boost it to like this. You can get some presence. But since you already duck those areas, you're safe. See? That's why we do this first and then tone shape after. Again, this is most of the time what you're gonna see. Very similar. They're gonna cut here, they're gonna boost here, they're gonna give some presence here in these areas. Depends on the style, depends on the genre. You're gonna see some, maybe they're gonna cut some areas which like live around like 5K, 7K sometimes. Depends on the person, depends on the mouth, like literally depends on the mouth, guys. Like ridiculous, like depends on the teeth. I'm not even kidding. Depends on people's teeth, how they sound is changing. The sibilance is changing. So most people have sibilance around 8K. Mine is 10K, literally. Exactly, like I know exactly where my sibilance is. 10 to 12K. Why is it like that? Because of my mouth. Because of my it's just probably because of my mouth. I have so much sibilance when I'm speaking. Even right now when I'm speaking to the microphone, I always have so much sibilance because of my teeth, because of my mouth shape, because of all that stuff, all those variables. So that's why. But I want you to like get the full picture of what is the subtractive corrective equalizer. This is the one. And what is the tone shaping? Because why I wanted to separate these two, because it's just not going to make sense. You're going to see an engineer pulling up an equalizer. Oh, I want to boost this. I want to do this. Oh, I want to do right after this. And they're not going to explain anything to you. And you're not going to know what they're doing. Like, this is exactly the reason I wanted to explain you this. And you're going to see some, these people have like, because they're so used to seeing those type of vocals, like they're so used to. Oh, it's like let's say if it's like a USB microphone. USB microphones are like sometimes some weird sibilance, so you have to like really, really careful with the sibilance. Sibilance is so high. So when you have like a cheap microphone, guys, what I experience, cheap microphone sounds harsh. Those sound super harsh on the cheap microphones. You literally have to go fix it on the audio and then fix it on the equalizer after. Some of the microphones that you're going to experience, like you're not going to have enough information here in the mids, but you're going to have like so much boominess, right? Cheap microphones sometimes have that. You're going to have like so much boominess, you're going to have like so much sibilance, not the air. Look, not the shiny top of air. They're going to sound shiny to you, but it's all sibilance. It's all sibilance. All you hear is like sibilance. That's not the quality high top end. Quality top end comes when you get rid of the sibilance. So this microphone that I'm speaking right now is TLM 102, right? This microphone doesn't have crazy sibilance. It has like a really nice mid-range like this. I really like it. It's like really even, you know, it's like super, like it has some highs, but it doesn't have the sibilance. It's ridiculous. This microphone, like, yeah, it has the highs, but they're not so like terrible, you know? And when you look at this microphone's profile on the internet, you're going to see like it's pretty flat actually. It's pretty flat. It's a pretty flat microphone. So much easier to tone shape if you're singing in a microphone like this. So I have another one here. It's called VA8000. So VA8000 has like so much sibilant, but yes, it has sibilant, right? It has sibilant, but it has quality shiny top end. This microphone sounds like it's sort of mixed. But where's the warmth? It doesn't have the warmth. So I don't get the warm quality from this microphone. I have to get really, really like closer to it so I can get something like proximity effect around here, you know, like I can get something around here so I can get some proximity effect. So it depends on the song. These people are choosing their microphones, depends on the song, so that way they don't have to do crazy mixing stuff. Sometimes you're gonna see some engineers doing like boosting like in the mid-range just to make the vocals sound more breathy, more intimate. You probably think when you boost the vocals like that, you think it sounds breathy. No, that's just air. Breathiness comes from the mid-range, guys. Mid-range. You're gonna see some people like doing after they fix all those resonances, they're gonna do like tone shaping like this. They're gonna bring out the mids so they can sound more intimate, more like, you know, yeah, it really works. You're gonna see they're doing that, but of course they're not gonna have like 600 of them, but at least 1 or 3. They're gonna do it like this, and then they're gonna do, since they exaggerated this area, now maybe this is too much, maybe limit. See, you're gonna see this yin yang all the time when it comes to tone shaping. So another I already showed you the most popular yin yang. What they do, guys, like they do like 300, right? But what happens, and then they lose all the body because these brush strokes are so wide. Because this is a tone shaping tool, right? They have to be wide. When you have like wide like this, what happens? You're losing the whole energy here. So that's why you're gonna see yin yang. They're doing like yin yang like this, and they're gonna do like yin yang maybe here, but mostly you're not gonna see that. But you're gonna see this like a very popular one. You know, you may actually see this. So yeah, because some of the warm. Even though sometimes some vocals may sound like nasal, you're gonna, again, this is all depends on the vocals. It depends on the signal. Send me the vocals. I try to, you know, do it for you, and then you get to see, you know, it's like a just example. Do you get the idea? The most important thing is you don't get quality air if you don't get rid of sibilance like this. If you don't get rid of sibilance like this, you don't get that quality air. It's not going to happen. Try it. It's not going to happen. Right? If you don't get rid of this stuff here, boominess, right? If you don't get rid of the stuff, you're not going to get the quality stuff here because you're not getting rid of this. When you bring this up, when you're tone shaping, you're bringing up the whole thing, right? So first correct and then boost it after, right? Enhance it after. Corrective equalizer, subtractive equalizer first, enhancement later. It works the best way. And then you can do like tone shaping here, but what happens when you do the tone shaping like broad brush strokes, but you didn't get rid of your resonances, right? You didn't do this. You didn't do this. You didn't do this. What happens when you bring all that stuff? Everything comes up. Those resonances, they even come up like this. So how are you going to fix that? Right? If you don't get rid of that first, how are we going to fix that? So my just suggestion, if you're like serious with this, pay attention to those resonances. Don't try to capture every single resonance. Not everything is resonance, guys. Try to listen to it, but I can already detect, I already know these vocals, I can already detect where my resonances are. And if you remember that we were actually like demonstrating how loud they were, how awful they sound. So if they sound awful, then I get rid of them. If they don't sound super awful, if they're too loud, then still get rid of them. Control them. I'm not saying get rid of them. Don't delete them entire thing. Control, guys, control. Because you don't control, you don't get balance. The balance is all about controlling. You first control things. You don't just start cutting things completely. You control them. So when you're on your equalizer, don't think like, oh my God, I'm cutting this, I'm cutting this. There's no cutting. You're controlling, my bro. You're controlling. So the mindset of the equalizer when you're doing the vocals, like you're cutting. You're making all those deep cuts, right? You're making all those deep cuts. What happens like when you make 200 of these? You cut the whole thing. Really? Instead, go back up, control, add, press option and drag it down, control them instead. That way you're not cutting anything. Tone shaping is static, guys. But resonance removal is dynamic. So did you see me applying any like, you're not gonna see people apply. I mean, sometimes they apply dynamic tone shaping. It happens sometimes, I've seen, but most of the time, tone shaping is static. You're gonna see this yin yang, okay, but they're gonna be static because they're tone shaping. You're never gonna see somebody putting a dynamic dot here on the air, so it just sharps up anytime it hits. You're never gonna see the tone. You're not gonna see those stuff during the tone shaping. All you're gonna see this type of like, broad, gentle brush strokes. They're never gonna go like this. If they have to go like this, then there's something is seriously wrong with your vocals. But if you go like this and you can make it sound great, go for it. Go for it. But again, what I'm trying to show you that these are the stuff that you're gonna see. Yeah, these are the stuff that you're gonna see. And this, of course, not this maybe, but yeah. This is the most popular thing that you're gonna see. This is the only thing that I hate doing. High pass filter. Yeah. Watch your meter, guys. Anytime you put like a high pass filter, I want you to watch your meter. What happens? See what happens. See what happens. Why would you like shift the phase crazy like this? Why would you do it? So for the vocals, sometimes you're not gonna see crazy meter jumps for the vocals, especially if there's not much information in that area. Depends on the female, depends on the male, but everything else you're gonna see those stuff. It's ridiculous. So okay, so we covered two areas. One, frequency ducking, subtractive equalizer, and how you approach to it, and tone shaping type of equalizer, how you approach it. You see the differences. These are dynamic, these are most static. So now you get the idea. My suggestion, if you're just starting the mix and vocals, try to find these stuff. Try to find at least 3, 4. Actually, 2, 3, 4 is good, right? Don't try to go like crazy with these resonances if you don't have so many resonances. I mean, don't try to kill the whole thing, because you're gonna see people like doing like 100 like stuff. I used to do that. I used to like go dial in 1, 2, 3, 4, 25. I used to go up to like 25, 26 because I didn't know what I was doing, because none of these YouTubers were actually explaining what they were doing. But this is what they're doing. Subtractive, get rid of the bad stuff, get rid of the tall guys. Don't necessarily give anything to the party. Get rid of them. Don't invite them. And then have fun with your friends. Tone shape. Okay. Happy equalizing, guys. Take care of yourself. Bye. Oh, wait for the next video. Oh, that's going to be fun. Let's get into the fun stuff right now. Bye. I hope I was recording.